So about a week ago, I did a video on my first impressions on the Google Pixel. And you know what? Not much has really changed. In regards to the design, it's very quirky, very geeky, I guess if you want to call it that, very googly. Personally, I'm not a fan of it. If I'm gonna be dropping $1,000, I want something to look very serious. I want something to look boss and refined, something like the Galaxy S7 Edge, or even the Note 7, which I think it's one of the best looking phones of 2016. Oh, damn it. Anyway, going back to that design, not a fan of the two-tone. I know this is all subjective, because there's somebody out there that might say, you know what, I like the design, Armando. Personally, I'm not a fan of it, and it's one of the reasons why I put a skin on it to make it look a lot cleaner. And if you like this type of style, or if you want to get one of these skins for your phone, I'm gonna leave a link down below so you guys can go ahead and check it out. Now, Google is offering this phone in 3 different colors. Also really quirky names, something like really blue and quite black, which is actually the one that I have right now. And to be honest, it's not really quite black. It's more like a grayish tone. And you can see that when you flip it over on the front side. One of the things I like about the iPhone 7 is like their black model actually matches like the display, and the actual framing around it is all black. So it looks like you're looking at one solid, large display. Unlike the Google Pixel, which actually you see the display and you see the bezels around it. Speaking of bezels, that chin, something was going on there. Either Google was gonna put something there, they ran out of time, I don't know what the deal is, or maybe Jay Leno was gonna promote this phone. Who knows? Regardless of the case, there's something weird about that chin that I do not like. It should have had front-facing speakers. Speaking of front-facing speakers, this does not have front-facing speakers, and it does not have stereo speakers. Now, this is something, or this is a big deal, because the iPhone is always the last, for the most part, in coming out with new hardware features. They're usually last. Now, if the iPhone has something, you better make sure that your phone also has it. So this is a big no-no for Google. I don't know what they were thinking, because again, if the iPhone's gonna come out with something, every other phone out there should also have it. Now, it does not have water resistant either, which the iPhone does have. That's something that I could probably dismiss, because at the end of the day, water resistant, I don't want to call it a gimmick because I think it's useful, but front-facing speakers, or even just stereo speakers in itself, is very important, especially if this is going to be your flagship phone. The biggest disappointment is where the speaker placement is. So if Google would have done something like the Note 7 and actually would have placed the speakers above when you're holding the phone, they don't really block anything, that would have been a better choice. And I think I would have not really complained so much about it. So this is probably the biggest negative about this phone. Now let's talk about some of the positive things like the display. It is a very gorgeous display. It's probably amongst one of the best displays out there. I still think the Note 7 takes the cake, but this is definitely in the top 5 of smartphone displays. On the back side, we have a 13.2 megapixel camera or shooter. One of the best also available in terms of like image quality, dynamic range. I mean, it takes some beautiful pictures. For me though, I don't think it's the best smartphone camera available like some people have claimed. For me, I prefer something like the iPhone 7, despite it not having as much dynamic range, but I just like the color reproduction. But again, this is all gonna come down to personal preference, and you're not gonna be disappointed. Also on the video side, the camera takes some pretty amazing video. In fact, there's a guy named Mateo who's a filmmaker and actually did a cinematic video, which I'm gonna leave linked down below, so check that out. It gives you an idea of what the Google Pixel's camera is capable of doing. So where this phone really shines is in the software department, because this is the first time that Google actually controls the hardware and the software. So the experience is something that just feels authentic, and every other Android phone out there just feels like it's an imitation of it. The software experience on this phone is totally next level, and it's probably the first Android phone that I can honestly say that goes head-to-head with the iPhone 7 in terms of software experience. Of course, Nougat also offers a lot of refinement under the hood, and you're gonna get new features like multitasking, split window mode. You're also gonna get things like, I hate to say it, 3D touch, where you actually long press on an icon and it gives you like shortcuts. Now, this doesn't work on a lot of other apps, so that's kind of a bummer. Of course, this is something that's new, so it's just gonna take time for developers to actually take advantage of it. But I do like these features. Of course, everything is a lot more faster, refined. So kudos to Google, because again, this is a phone that just feels completely different. And that's the thing, if you want the latest and greatest, I mean, this is Google's baby. They're gonna make sure that, it gets software updates. It's gonna be up to date every month in terms of like security. This is something that's just gonna be like in terms of like no compromises in regards to software. I just wished that Google would have just knocked it out of the park in terms of hardware. Not a bad phone, but I don't think it's the best Android phone, especially when they're commanding that type of price range. So I think Google Assistant is where Google's spending a lot of time and money on. So imagine this, Google has a new product called Home, which I'll be doing a video, so make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on that. So you're sitting at home, or I'm sitting at home, and I get a notification. Remember, these are all throughout my house. And it says, Armando, you have to leave in 30 minutes so that you can make it to the airport on time. Would you like me to schedule an Uber? So let's just say I don't need an Uber and I just need my car. And it's just telling me, Armando, make sure to leave in 30 minutes so you're not late to the airport. I get into my car. Now I have Android Auto, which I also have my assistant there. And as I'm driving to the airport, it says, Armando, don't forget, tomorrow is your wife's birthday. Would you like me to schedule some flowers or something like that? This is all part of the assistant program that I truly believe that it's Google's vision. And remember, as I leave my car, I have my phone with me. My assistant comes with me everywhere I go. That is what I truly believe that Google is banking on. The question is, do you want to help them develop this by buying their products? That is truly the question you have to ask yourself. So anyhow, guys, I know I started rambling and doing all this other stuff. Let me know what you guys think of this, information that I've given you guys. Also, follow me on Snapchat or Instagram if you guys want to see behind the scenes. Thanks again for watching, and you will catch me in the next one. Adios. Cut.